How to beautify your home in a way that's concrete, where I'm going to give you guys examples that you can apply today so that you can live the elevated life you deserve. Follow me. I am often asked by friends, by clients, how do you really make a space look polished? And one of the tricks to interior design is making your space look very much finished. And today we are going to talk about what are the ways that you can actually not only make your space look luxurious, feel luxurious, but very much polished and ready for entertaining. We've talked about this before, but the first impression is always the lasting impression. Hence, the opening to your home, the entrance of your home, your foyer needs to reflect not only the best version of you, but also it should be an indication of what's to come. So you are going to put your best foot forward in the entrance of your home. And today I'm going to show you some examples, personal examples that I've done in particular projects, or even other examples where you can see what a polished entrance looks like so you can definitely emulate it. If you have a dilemma with your designs, or you are stuck on a colorway, or you have no idea what furniture to buy, guess what? You can call me. In the description section, there's a Zoom link, and we can easily set up even a 20-minute consultation. This first example is a flip project that we finished about 6 months ago. And what we did was, we've talked about this in other videos, but I wanted to point out the fact that we made an entrance out of nothing. There was a very small opening. We were able to create an entrance, but I'm sure a lot of you have entrances that you're not really utilizing to its best capacity. For example, note the use of branches in a vase, those you can easily get. Notice the table that we used that is centered with the entrance, and of course the pendant light, which makes a statement. Another transformation that we just completed is this particular entrance of a home, which the home itself is quite large, but the entrance is very small. So this is something that can easily apply to a lot of us who live in smaller homes. And that is, what do you do with an entrance that has very little space? Well, this is what you do. If you can, you line your walls in wood. So wood paneling really elevated the space. It was before quite uninteresting. We bought a beautiful table. It's a very large ceiling. It had a dated mirror, it dated everything. And the paneling just really created a very warm hotel vibe to the space and made it gigantic. Here's another entrance, which I found to be very fun, and something that you can do as well is, not everything has to be symmetrical and perfect. You can bring in beauty in your imperfection, and why not throw in an old rug at an angle? Do something that's different, whether it's paneling, whether it's oversized branches, an oversized lantern, or an oversized light. In this case, throw in a rug. We all have runners. Just throw them in, put it at an angle, put an interesting chair, and now you've created a talking point. You are showing everyone who comes to your home that this isn't just a random home. This is a home that has lots of interesting features for them to discover. Here's another example of what most of us have as entrances, are these long hallways that are very drawn out and can be exceedingly boring. How do you make it pop? Throw in lamps. Put lamps on your credenza. Ambient lighting is very important in interior design. Most people forget it because they have a plethora of recessed lighting, and so they don't think about it. It's really for the warmth that the lamps are going to bring in the room. And this is a really great trick. You could just buy a pair of lamps online, throw them on your current credenza, throw in some branches, show a little bit of greenery. I think that's really important. And in this case, you can pick a beautiful runner and you're good to go. This entrance is really inspiring for me because I have a similar looking entrance where I've got a round table and I don't really have anything around the table. So I actually got inspiration from this image, and perhaps I'll be throwing in a similar bench in front of a round entrance table, because that gives you the trifecta that you're looking for. You've got a beautiful, very interesting architectural lantern of a light, and you've got a round table, but then you need a third piece. And the third piece, because as you know, in interior design, good things come in odd numbers. Throw in a bench that is interesting, that is of different texture and different material, and just look at it pop in your home. Another example I wanted to illustrate quickly was the fact that if you have a very polished home, if it's a newer home, what I love to do and what designers love to do is bring in something that has history, a reclaimed wood credenza. That makes it more elevated in your entrance, because if everything is clean and everything is shiny and everything is perfect, it almost looks too catalog and it doesn't have a personality. Don't worry about bringing in a vintage piece that's been beaten down, or you could even beat it up yourself. I've seen a lot of DIYers that take metal to their tables and they're very, very creative. So bring in a piece that has history, bring in a piece that is not perfect, and put it against the perfection of what it is, whether it be your lights and your art and your beautiful floors, that everything is fresh and new, but don't forget the vintage pieces. Next, biggest trick to a luxurious space that most people overlook is the fact that you can put shears in areas that are unexpected. So unexpected curtains are always very designer and luxurious. This is not something that's expensive. You can buy shears on Amazon. You just have to install them or have an installer do them for you, unless you can do it yourself. But imagine having a rod in your beautiful bathroom. If you have, a larger home, this is where you could put shears. In fact, I have a bathroom that is very similar to that, and I just might be putting shears up in my bathroom because it's open to the garden. And yes, it's happened that the gardeners were in the backyard and I was taking a bath very similar to this bathroom, so this might be a good idea for me. Here's another great example, same concept. You've got these, a lot of the homes that were built that are in communities where you have a lot of the similar homes, and prefabricated homes, I should say, happen to have this sort of geometric bathtub scenario. And how do you make that look more custom? Well, you just throw in shears on every side. Doesn't matter if your windows are small, if they're tall, if they're short. This will really beautify the space and make it look very designer. Here's something that we've done in the past. And what it is you're literally putting silk curtains. I know you're gonna say, I know what everyone's gonna say, that's not practical. No, it doesn't. This is not about being practical. This is about maybe having this not in your everyday primary bathroom, but perhaps in a guest bathroom where you can actually put very interesting silk curtains or silk-like curtains. And what we've done is that we line the back. We just bought a clear curtain for the shower curtains that are clear, and we lined it with fabric. And you can do this with performance fabric. It doesn't have to be silk. It can be faux silk. And you literally drape it on the side of the tub, and this is a great way to make even an apartment look very high-end. Even in your primary rooms, you can definitely throw in shears when you don't necessarily need them. Sometimes it's really nice to get protection from the sun, and so that your floors don't burn out and your furniture doesn't fade. I mean, we get a lot of sun in this room, so it would probably be a good idea to have shears here so that you don't completely block out the light. And this also looks wonderful, and it looks elevated, and it looks like a designer room. The application of these curtains in this room is probably one of my favorites. It's unexpected. It doesn't matter what's behind these curtains. It could be a closet. It could be just a wall. But the idea is to make you think. The idea is to make you wonder, what is behind that curtain? Why does it look so good? Why is it so chic? So it could be a floor-to-ceiling window. I don't know. I don't care. What I do know is that I love the folds. I love the color. I love the tone-on-tone aspect of it. And again, this is an unexpected place to do curtains, and I love doing them in unexpected places, especially in a bedroom behind the bed, which is where you usually wouldn't have curtains, floor to ceiling. Now remember, in all of these examples, most of my curtains were floor to ceiling. You definitely don't want short curtains. You got to keep them long, and you got to keep them very tidy. And don't forget, colored shears are a great way to incorporate a little bit of color in your home, provided that it's neutral. Look at these green shears in this home. It just brings the outside in. It brings a little bit of visual interest. And again, you're looking at a space that you would not expect necessarily shears in, but look at how great that looks. Something designers love to do that I wanted to share with you that you can do too is called layering. Now, what does layering mean? It is a very general term. It's hard to explain because it's something that you do because of other elements that are in the room. So I'm going to give you some examples. I bet you can go right now and layer your home. Don't think about it, just layer. Look at this example. You've got a bed. Again, it's layered with different things. You want to throw not one, maybe two, maybe three. In this case, I don't know how many there are on this bed, but layer your bed with lots of blankets and, you know, double duvet. I love the double duvet look because it's what you see in a department store, and you always wonder, why does it look so much better in a department store? Because they literally have 3 duvets. They've got a feather bed, and they've got a duvet that's folded, and then they have a duvet on top of that. So don't be afraid to overly decorate your bed. That's a place where you can have some fun with layering. And also, part of layering is the surfaces in your home are also covered. That is a very good trick that designers use, is that they don't really leave any white walls. I love leaving white walls, that's my look, but I've done rooms and I've done homes where every layer and every surface is covered, and it can look really good, but you have to be very good at interior design to get away with it. But certainly you can do it in 1 or 2 rooms and not have to do it everywhere, but here is how you do it. Here's a quick example of a room that is fully covered and layered. So you've got a rug, you've got the walls that are either painted or they're covered. You also have curtains, you've got bed. It's layered in a way that makes the room visually interesting. Layering can also refer to not necessarily a bedroom, but any part of the home can be layered. This is an entrance that's layered. Why? Well, you've got a mirror, you've got a table, you've got more objects on the floor, you've got items that really are superimposed upon the other. So you've got frames here. You could even lean art against the mirror in this particular scenario. You can have branches that are layering the mirror, that are layering the table. So it's all about really picking the areas where you're going to layer. You don't want to overlayer the entire house and give yourself a headache or your visitors, but you want to pick certain spaces, certain areas where you can create this layering effect. Another great example of layering is doing, for example, in this photo, you'll see plastered ribbed walls. This is something we've done in New York. People love plaster in New York. I love it. No one does it in California. I think because the earthquake tends to crack plaster quite a bit, so it's a little trickier to do it in LA. But in New York, everyone does plaster. And of course, I'm exaggerating, not everyone, but most, or those that I have come in contact with, love plaster. And layering your plaster with your marble and your lighting really creates that just perfect chef's kiss. I chose this concept of layering not because we all have giant bars in our home or a commercial space that we need to decorate, but the idea is that you have covered your ceilings in a way that's different. You've got wallpaper or you've got hand-painted ceilings. You bring it down halfway through the wall. This is, again, a really great technique. And then, of course, you paint the wall in a single-toned color, which is brought back within the area. So a lot of layering has to do with picking colors that you are going to live with, that you love, and layering them and bringing them together so that you don't see any white space, and this creates a very cozy, quaint ambiance. Here's another example I absolutely am obsessed with. Why do I love this room? Well, you are layering different textures. You've got brass sheets that are layering and covering up this fireplace. You've got the ceiling, which is layered in wood. You've got your walls that are layered in wallpaper. You've got your furniture that sits on this rug that has a different texture. So it's about textures and layering and bringing the perfect combination together to create a very high-end look. Guess what, guys? We're gonna have to have a part 2. This video is running so long. I had too many examples. I can't help it. I get so inspired. Let me know if this is helpful to you, and if you're gonna use any of these tips, which one spoke to you. And I can't wait to see you next week when we look at very interesting other techniques that we use in making your rooms feel luxurious that you can incorporate today for a space that is gorgeous and beautiful. See you again on the red elevator next week.